Greetings and welcome back to Factorio. I'm KatherineOfSky, the Belt Diva, and we have managed to fill up our train. I did actually go back and manually ferry a lot of these chests of copper back up to here. I also transferred the ore that we had in storage to the various ore processing facilities. So I was looking, and I think what I might do is this is going to be starting off with kind of a maintenance episode, getting some things organized. So I'm going to start off just south of here. Oh my goodness, I had not realized how slow this train would be. Oh my god. Well, yeah, I have too many cars. I have far, far too many cars. But the good thing is, once we actually get to our destination, we should be alright. Wow, that was a nice close call there. But I've noticed just on the mini-map, or on the overview map, I should say, some of these patches of copper running out. So we're going to have to I just want to do a maintenance episode and get those out of the way. So without further ado, I will bring you time-lapse next. Alright, so here I am cleaning up some of the miners and a few of these belts that have just been used through this whole mining process. Always got to check the ends because those are the ones that tend to empty out first in any of these mining areas. Just eking out a little bit of those copper patches there, just to take those last tiny bits of copper. I probably could ignore it, but nah. Oh, and then I spot a problem with the trains. Oh my goodness, this copper problem seems to never end, unfortunately. And in a second, yes, there's another problem with these just little bits of copper that must have gotten stuck somehow, maybe in a splitter or something somewhere. Wherever it was, it didn't get pushed out. I'm going ahead and adding a couple more engines to my train just to make it a little bit more responsive and faster as I go to different areas around the factory. And it definitely does give it a huge boost of power. I steal the coal from the last, well, what ends up being the last engine to do so. And just hope it's going to last me throughout the rest of my journey around the factory. So here I am just cleaning up the iron ore patch, and I was looking for a space to dump that extra iron ore, but yeah, didn't happen. So I put some copper manually on the belt because I just don't want that stuff in my inventory. And I notice, oh my gosh, this patch has not been serviced by a miner. Oh no. So I shove one down there. And then I look at this one, and oh my goodness, I seem to have forgotten to put modules in this entire array. I don't know if I forgot or I thought that the robots would do it, but maybe I just forgot to put a roboport. Or what the situation was. Maybe I didn't have enough on me. I don't know, but the whole thing was kind of perplexing, and I have to go and manually get some modules from the train to get this sorted. I'm reducing the number of miners, so at least we can recycle the ones for the miners that don't need it. And of course here I'm just getting things working a little bit better, rebalancing stuff so that we have the lines being fairly full. And of course, I run out of inventory space, just slightly. So while I want to put those miners down, but I thought, no, I have to just do something with these bits, get them out of my inventory so the robots can do the next things that I need, and then be able to connect up these extra little miners over here. So next I go to pick up my chests, and of course there is insufficient space, which is a bit annoying. I need one more square of space, but that's okay. We're going to go and take down a few of these other miners, and the robots can just sort of follow me about until I'm ready. But I'm going to reload the train with those bits so that I can just have a freer inventory and be able to proceed from this area without leaving anything behind. Alright, so we go around and find that this very last tiny station is actually done. So I go ahead and take it apart, say goodbye to this nice little station, reconnect all those power poles, and actually delete the station. And I really shouldn't have done that because it's you can sort by station. if you don't delete it. But here I had to manually look through the train schedules and see, okay, where is that one on there? Is it somewhere else? And then just try to delete them from there. Otherwise, we're going to get some stuck trains and they just won't proceed at all. Anyway, so here I am looking at the next target destination, which is that ore patch in the middle of all those solar panels. So I go ahead and just drive the train there. I thought I might have even put it on manual mode, or not manual, but automatic mode, just to get there, so that I don't have to navigate all the wild railways that we have. And we are just in time because the other train leaves. So I'm not really worried about this train getting filled with ore because I have reserved every single slot in the train. All right, so here again, we are having this problem of no modules. It's kind of like, whoa, where did they all not come from? Because I know that when I set this up, I wanted them to have productivity modules, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have put them in. But I just don't know how I forgot to put them back, or if I didn't have enough, or what the heck happened. So anyway, I kind of keep going back and forth getting the modules, and at some point I realize, oh my gosh, there probably aren't going to be enough. So and then I also notice, parts of the solar arrays are not completing, just kind of taking down each of these little miners in turn, the ones that have no more ore under them. So I'm looking and oh my gosh, there are no modules. Let's send it back to the station. We need to go back to the base and pick up those more modules. So I set it just to come back in around 60 seconds, and hopefully that will be sufficient time to get loaded with some more of those productivity modules. And while I'm waiting for the train, I just go ahead and prune down some of these other miners here, just to save a little bit of time. And they're all working quite nicely once again. So just put some ore back on those belts because all of the chests are full. I check on the train, it isn't back yet, so it's kind of like, okay, what shall I do? Just keep on looking at stuff, and I notice a spot where I sort of missed putting down miners. There's actually ore that has no ability to be mined, and I'm not quite sure how I missed it, but it's okay, it's coming. So then I go back and I notice, aha, the train is coming back, so I just watch it on the little preview for a little bit. Because it's actually almost here. There we go. Okay, so I add in those, just grab some modules and put them in my inventory, and go ahead and just distribute them amongst all of these miners so that hopefully we can get them all sorted out, and this place will be fully moduled up and be producing at that higher level of stuff. I go ahead and use that last car of the train to add in extra stuff like miners, excess miners, and things like that, and that one will be sort of redone when I get to the base, either put the stuff into the general storage system or just use it as I go along. I haven't really decided what to do. So I proceed to the next area, which is over here, and I have trouble parking this train because it's far too long. So I end up having to take apart this little thing. I figure that one track is enough, but it isn't actually enough. It's really annoying. And this one, it doesn't want to go. Even though the tracks are disconnected, it must be something in the code where if they're sort of overlapping, that also counts. So I manually put it forward, and then I delete this, and oh yes, the light turns green after that. So I figured that problem, which is pretty good. And then here I'm just kind of pruning these miners down. Notice there's a little bit of ore going on, and I use my new blueprint to take care of that. There are a few of these miners in the middle of the patch where it was very scarce resources. As I recall, there was kind of like a hole in the middle of this ore patch. And just take them all down, recycling all those lovely modules that are so expensive to build. With the new meta of rocketness, we are going to be needing to be on the tips of our toes with resources, and so that's what I'm aiming to do in this sort of another preparation period is get all of these bases at full readiness. So I go in and organize my train a bit to get back up here and again put down or recycle the miners in this area. Yeah, and just take care of the ones that are, it looks like I missed a power pole at some point, all kinds of things like this. So, and of course this is my more expensive array where I've done the power poles in the center, and it has actually the underground belts, which are quite expensive compared to regular ones. So I'm just keen to recycle all of those materials in this array. Everything's going swimmingly though. It's looking pretty darn good. So I go and look and see, well, there's not much else to prune. So it's time to go after the biters. So I get everything organized, I put stuff back in the train and get my inventory fairly clear. I go ahead and switch out my power armor just in case the shields need to clear or need to charge, I mean. And I go ahead and go up to our northernmost biter camp. As I pass by, there are some spots that I need to organize with roboports and whatnot, but I decide to leave that for later and just go ahead and park my train where it will be fairly useful. I grab some gates just to make an entrance way out here for now as I just prepare to take on some biters. So, yep, here we go with all of the biters chasing me, and there are a lot of biters. I tried, of course, the hit and run tactics of running in and flaming them so that my destroyers have less to do, because destroyers do not kill things that quickly when there are hundreds of them. And here I'm coming up upon a huge, massive group of biters. This is one of those areas where they're kind of limited by the landscape and they're in this bubble, but the pollution keeps hitting them, so they keep generating more and more mobs, but they never come to the walls to get cleared out because of the position of the landscape. So it takes quite a bit to get rid of all the mobs here and deal with them. And try to take out the bases as well so more critters don't spawn. And of course there's all those side bases too that are getting things. I'm pretty sure that this is in pollution zone. That's my theory. I didn't actually look, I don't think, but we can check the map later. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to pick up some of these artifacts, but then it's kind of like, well, do I want to wait for them? There's this kind of feeling of futility in a way, because it takes a while to pick them up via robots, but then it's like, well, if I leave them on the map, then it's going to cause some lag at some point. So by and large, I decide to leave the artifacts down and then kind of come and collect them later. That was the thing I was going with. But if I happen to walk over some, that's also good too, so that I can just pick them up as I walk by, and it doesn't cost me waiting for the logistic, or not logistic, but the construction bots to pick them up, which is a good thing, But yeah, it's such a pain to wait for those bots to get things, especially in a large nest like this. And these are big, big nests. As you can see, I'm circling them several times just to get them reasonably beaten down, and all the biters are just following me. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's yeah, very dangerous work, this. And this is a part I know that's coming up that might be interesting for you guys. I know there are people out there who wish for me to die during my episodes, and you will not be disappointed in this particular episode, because I do go a little bit too far. So, but, it was one of those cases where I was like looking at the map and, just waiting for my drones to kill stuff, and then looking at the map and seeing stuff. Oh gosh, we won't get there for a while, apparently. I thought we were at a different spot than we were. Okay, so anyway, yeah, it's a bad thing to try to plan when you are trying to fight biters. So I go back and I just go and kill some of these other nests. I just basically want to clear out the entire area so that we have no more problems. I decided to go back to the train and refresh my supply of ammo and bots and stuff. Since I'm still so close to the wall, it just seems logical at this point. And I also grabbed some walls and lasers so that I can start putting down barriers once I'm at that side. And I don't even think about it, but I should have brought some electric poles, just drag them along with me as I am moving along here. So here I am trying to get this big nest full of lag-inducing artifacts gathered up, and it goes fairly swiftly, I guess. Much more swiftly than in time-lapse than it is in person trying to do this. So, and at some point I'm just like collecting all the bots from the air, just trying to quicken the process even further. There we go. And yeah, so here we are taking down the next area, going in and just kind of shooting bots, as well as just setting them alight, you know, getting the flamethrower out and sorting things, just to the best of my ability here. And it's there are so many biters. The world is like covered in red, so it's not a great thing. It really isn't fun to have this many biters after you and stuff like that. To me, it's kind of a chore at endgame for this to happen, and here is where I meet my death. There we are. I knew it was coming. I just got confused by similar looking biter nests. But anyway, I was distracted, like I said, looking at the map, I think, and trying to figure out. I was looking actually at the shoreline, now I remember, and finding out kind of where was the best place to cross with a wall, you know, basically the best choke point, so to speak, and shortest amount of distance with the wall. And I got distracted, and I therefore died. So not a good plan to do that. But that's okay. I go back and I take my revenge upon the biters and get all of their bases down, cleared out from this area, which I've already decided, yes, this looks pretty good for a wall at some point. I don't put one down because I realize my mistake in not bringing power up here. There's no point in putting the walls down if you don't have power to power the lasers, because it'll just get chewed up by the biters anyway. Not only that, but my bots are getting got somewhat toasted at some point. I don't remember if it's here or I don't know. Yeah, there they go. They started to get damaged and didn't repair themselves, and so I had all these inventory slots filled with, you know, one damaged bot. You know, like three different ones. And then they all go into the night and get killed when I release them. So that was not great. It was not what I was expecting. I expected to release one and it would repair itself, but apparently it just told them to go back to the base. But apparently the biters were on the way back to the base, so they sort of died, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. We'll get it sorted somehow. It'll be fine, right? We have many more bots in the factory that can be supplied to us, and the fallen comrades will not be forgotten. We shall ensure that that happens. And here I find this one annoying base in the forest. I don't really want to burn down the whole forest, so I just use grenades to get back out. And then I notice the flamethrower has done some damage here. I use grenades to take out those trees so it doesn't get, you know, horrible. I just go a little bit further to the west just to see how far this landmass goes. I had this wild hope, an unrealized hope, that it would be sort of a closed-off continent by water, but it is looking like it's quite big in that direction. So I realize I need to, okay, let's just stop here. We're going to have to build a wall closer into my own base instead of just, you know, hoping that this is a watered-in continent, peninsula, so that you know, we would have more efficiency, because otherwise I'd be killing biters all day looking for some kind of a tiny choke point. So I just go ahead and go down and just go and get stuff within the area that I would like to influence. Just take out the nests and kill them all with these nice drones. And at times, some of the drone numbers go up really, really high because of just huge nests. I think I got up to like max follower robot count, which is like 120 something, maybe. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I worried about follower robot count, but man, the thickness of some of these nests is real. It's just unbelievable. And not that fun to deal with. Obviously, you see me not charging in at normal speed. I am on time lapse because I think everybody gets tired of biter killing. It's kind of a little bit boring. But you know, some people do like it, and that's great too. I enjoy the building, I think, more. But anyway, so we're dispatching pretty much everything. Another reason I decided not to go with the robots to pick up all the alien artifacts is because of the time it takes, and my little destroyers would die. But anyway, that's all we have time for, so thank you so very much for joining me. I'm KatherineOfSky. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you next time.